Welcome to Sippin On Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Back at it. Another Saturday on the mic, y'all. Let's start this out by welcoming everybody, man. Welcome, y'all. Another episode of Sippin On Excellence.
Welcome. Sippin On Excellence.
I guess by now y'all see there's something different. We got this brother with a milk dud sitting next to us.
Sitting next to the milk dud.
Sitting next to the bigger milk dud.
They call my piccolo player a motherfucker. Who's the man? Sitting next to the man. No, the goddamn man. They call my piccolo player
A motherfucker.
If you don't know that one, go look it up.
Y'all youngsters out there don't know. Woo. Man, what a week.
It is. You were telling me some interesting things this week about this week.
Kenny, talk about your week, man. What went down? Anything crazy? Anything?
Oh, nothing crazy, man. Just decided to take steps to get on my own way. I went live.
Going live.
Live
every day.
Every day. Well, Monday through Friday.
That's every day to me.
It is.
Most people don't count the weekends.
It is. So going from kind of posting to like, oh no, I'm going live every day. At this time.
Steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
I wonder if everybody out there is wondering who the hell is sitting here. Well, I guess those who are listening to the podcast don't even know somebody's here. Y'all on YouTube see this dude. Let's do a formal introduction, then we'll get into sort of just how the week went, because I know how his week went because he spent it with me. So I'll take the honors. This is everybody's Dr. Gabriel Hunt, my brother, better known as Big Bro.
Hey there, everybody.
He used that old 92.3 Theo voice.
Right. For like a 5-year-old though. Like a 5-year-old though. Go, hey,
y'all.
Glad you hear the voice cracking a little bit. That nice deep man voice.
So those of you who don't know, this is my older brother, and we decided to bring this little fool on the mics today.
This little fool.
And
ain't nothing little about this man.
But
I'm like this, trying to swell up my shoulders.
Have some conversations, and we're gonna talk about. We'll get to the topic in a minute, but just shoot the shit today. It's a Saturday morning.
That's right.
And now you got 3 educated voices, 3 men, 3 of the same age, 3 different experiences in life, but
y'all are educated. I just went to school.
I know plenty of people who went to school who still aren't educated. So that's why I say 3 educated brothers, because we got life education.
Yeah.
That's right, because just going to school doesn't make you educated.
That's right. I know a lot of them.
We work with a whole lot of educated dummies every day.
Like we used to call them, educated fool.
Yeah.
Just keep going back for more and more
day.
and more.
And y'all gonna see me keep screwing with this third mic, because hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully.
I'm not trying to do all this work later. So hopefully it'll pick up all these deep ass voices.
This editing process.
Oh, man, welcome to the podcasting world. Welcome to my living room.
Right.
But I've known this dude my whole life. Kenny's known him for about as long as he's known me.
Right.
And
well, I met y'all at the same time.
Yeah, we have different perspectives on life, even though we're family.
Right.
And so I think we share a lot of the same views, but there's other things that he's experienced in life that I haven't. And there's things he's experienced in life that you haven't, and likewise.
Right.
And so we thought today would be a good day to just get into the nitty gritty of our 3 lives and how similar and different they may be. And
So we call it the 3 of Negroes?
The 3 of Negroes.
Wow, he hasn't even had a drink yet.
Woo, boy. And if anybody gets offended out there, oh well. Tune out.
Lemon out of alcohol.
Who remembers that movie?
Oh my gosh, the 3
The Three
Amigos?
Amigos.
Yeah.
Steve Martin.
Martin Short.
And who was the other dude?
I don't remember.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Gino for the win.
See?
Yes, we call him Gino because that's what he's affectionately known as by his homies.
Where did Gino come from?
Well, my middle name is Eugene.
Okay.
And, the biggest problem is that whenever someone's first name is more than 3 syllables, everyone tries to shorten it a little bit. So Gabe or Gabby just didn't work for me. So,
No, it doesn't work for me.
I used to be affectionately called G-Boy, which, what's that?
G-Boy.
When he was little.
Who called you G-Boy?
That just didn't get any traction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Thank God.
middle name is Eugene, so Gino just, and I'm a junior, so that just kind of
stuck.
Okay.
stuck there, and it's worked well.
Okay. Did they
People
ever call
still-
you Junior?
No, not really. That's where
Okay.
Gino came up, but people still,
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever called
no,
you
no,
Junior.
no, but people still want to call me Gabe, and I'm like,
Like
listen,
at work.
Listen, just Gabriel or Gino. I
Right.
don't want to call you Gino. Well, call me Gabriel.
Put it this
That's
way.
my name.
People calling him Gabe at work is about as bad as people calling me Lionel.
And I correct people that call you Lionel.
Man, it's even worse when people type it out. People who know me type it out and call me Lionel in text. And you know who I'm talking to because I know you catch this podcast from time to time.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Kent. And as soon as you call me, it's either Kenneth or Kenny,
Yeah.
or don't call me.
Right? It's like if I introduce myself as Lionel, oh, Lionel. No, that's not what I told you.
I don't.
Listen, MF, I'm telling you what my name is. So yeah, I think tell people a little bit about you. Just what do you do? Tell them about we all know that you're a neurosurgeon, spine surgeon, works with me, extraordinary doctor, but they don't know jack about your personal life. On my IG, they see me with kids and they're like, oh, you have such beautiful sons. Nah, that's that dude's kids.
I just send them back to him.
He's the one with the hot wife and the cute kids. I'm just the dude who gets to go eat sometimes. So
Y'all are pretty.
So on a more personal note, I'm married with 2 kids. Been married for 15 years, and known my wife for 20 years. Yeah, it went by quick. Ooh. And 2 boys. One's 14, and the other is going to be 13. In a couple weeks.
oh yeah, huh?
Yeah. So
Damn, that just made me feel old.
it seemed like they were born yesterday. You miss all that time except for the little 1-year-old and 2-year-old birthday parties, whatever you want to go there. But
Got me making margarita at those mugs.
But I know it's been a journey, and you blink and they're gone.
Yeah.
And they've gotten to the point now where, my youngest one, he's wearing a size 12 shoe now,
Oh, don't I know?
and the older one is literally almost as tall as me. So
Dude, I'm going to them asking for hand-me-down Nikes because I know they wear them a couple times and their foot's too big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, them Jordans look kind of cool. Now,
yeah, the pair of LeBrons you just got on. I looked, I was like, dude, can I wear those next week?
yeah, and I'm looking.
I wear a 12.
And they're actually
will be
actually a little too big for me. I was
Dude.
like, eh.
Back in the day, hand-me-downs used to come this way.
Right.
I never thought I'd be going to my nephew's like, damn, them shoes are hot. Hey man, don't scuff
And
them
you
up.
can't even wear them.
No, I can't even wear
You can't even get a hand-me-down.
I'm like, don't scuff them up because your uncle may need to rock them at some point.
Oh, and this is a worse one. So, you know how the kids now are wearing like bigger clothes and things like that?
Right. They're going back.
Back full circle.
Yeah.
huh?
So I go in my son's room and he has clothes that are bigger than mine. And I'm like, that's kind of hot. I might have to put that on.
I might have to jack you for that sweatshirt I bought you.
Yeah, but then there's the little food stain on it. I'm like, yeah, okay, man.
well.
Like, you got to do a little better. I'm trying to keep them in line now because I'm like, I didn't want to wear that, so keep it clean.
I'm sorry. Don't be mad about your son with food stains when your nickname used to be Dirty.
Yeah, that was a problem back in the day. Yeah, that was a problem back in the day.
I'm going to learn a lot today.
Oh, we about to get into this today.
It used to be a problem, and I think even till today, I don't like wearing white things because they get a little dirt on them, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not very OCD, but when it comes to that, like even these shoes I have on now with a little white on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh man, it bothers me because I got a little dirt on them. So it's funny because when I first started working 18 years ago, I had a bunch of white coats, and I hated when the white coat was a little wrinkled or had a little dirt on it. So I literally had 10 of them because I might have to change them a couple times out of the day. And so that laundry bill started getting a little too much.
That's why we stopped wearing them. I don't wear a white coat.
I just, because I hate seeing doctors with, dirt smudged by the pockets, and oh man.
It's terrible. You look filthy. It's wrinkled. It's dirty.
So I used to have to get mine pressed and starched, and getting a little too expensive, having a dry clean 10 of them a week. So I said, yeah, I'm going to have to put that down.
Man. Well, before we get too deep into the life of Dr. G,
Yeah.
because that's what they call Dr. L and Dr. G at work, because when they say Dr. Hunt, we're both like, huh? You know?
How do y'all do it?
We do what we do.
Okay.
Don't question us.
Nobody's question.
Just bask in the ambiance. What's that from?
What is that from?
White chicks.
Oh.
But he was at dinner.
Yeah.
I might have to watch that because I haven't seen that in a while.
That
so
shit was
yeah,
hilarious.
that's a good one.
Oh, so the funny thing is, as much as we quote comedians and movies,
Right.
he'll pick up on them when we throw those little lines out.
Okay.
More so than us.
So you don't remember everything.
Well, that's what happens when you get a little older. You sift out, so that's why you got to double up on them. You got to, re-up. That's why I'm like, I can go back and watch Little White Chicks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You got to re-up. Yeah. You forget quick.
And the problem is that I think this is what I tell myself. You're so busy that there's new stuff coming in, so you get rid of the old stuff. It's interesting. I was at dinner the other night, and my son is like, Daddy, I can name all the countries in the world. I'm like, shut up, little man. Like, no, you can't. Don't you think on his phone he pulls up, he's like, I'm going to name all the countries in Africa. He pulls them up and starts rattling them off, and I'm like, you know what this is, Daddy? I was like, yeah, it's Ethiopia.
Been there.
But
the only one I know.
But then he said, let's go to Asia. He names all the Asian countries, like, let's go to Europe. Dude, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. He's like, you want to do the U.S.? I'm like, no, because I'm really going to feel bad.
I don't know all the states.
I'm like that. I'm like, yeah, when you have more things to think about, I'm like, you got it.
Yeah,
but, you start letting some of the old stuff kind of just go by. Because even now in their homework, they're like, Daddy, I was doing something with proofs. I'm like, proof what? Proof.
What's that?
What you trying to prove?
100% proof?
He's like, you know what I mean, don't you? I'm like,
Yeah, I know that bottle of vodka is 80 proof.
Sure, I know what that means. He's like, yeah, I hate them. I was like, yeah, I used to hate them too. I'm thinking, what is a proof?
Right. Right? We're going to move on since none of the three of us know. So before we get into sort of this topic, Big Brother chose the sip of the day, and we just kept it simple. Why don't you tell us what we're sipping on today?
So we're sipping on a little mandala tequila that's extra añejo. And
Tell them why you like it.
Because it's sweet. Yeah, I was that guy that always had to have a little umbrella in my drink and a little flour, and I had to have a lot of sugar in it. So
Nothing wrong with that.
just starting to enjoy tequilas and the sipping tequilas, I found that the extra añejo fits me just right.
Pulled him over to the dark side. Finally made a man out of his drinks.
Quiet as kept, though. He's the same way. He likes everything sweet. So
I like my coffee sweet because I don't like coffee flavor.
Oh boy. Anyway.
Don't you start with
Hey,
me.
nothing wrong with a little sweetness.
No.
You
no,
lucky. You lucky he's sitting between us. We needed a little space.
Like you gonna get something with your little ass.
If y'all can get all personal, I could leave.
Nah, man. So, want to say cheers to my brothers here, and cheers to every one of you for sticking with us. We're almost a year in total, man.
Has it been that? Really?
Yeah. 50-something weeks we coming up on.
Yeah.
Cheers, y'all.
It just seems like you guys started this just a little bit ago.
We
That just
started
shows
recording. We started recording back in March.
and that's a whole nother discussion
I do
because
get it.
time goes by so quickly.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so big on and getting to our topic today, just having fun and just knowing your worth and knowing what you want and just getting it done. Because look, a year's almost gone by and you've been doing this. And
Yeah.
when you started, it was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. How can we get this all figured out?
Now we
And-
set it up and roll.
And we still know what we're
Still know what
doing.
we're
We're still
doing,
trying to figure it out.
That means
But we
you're wrong.
enjoy it.
But
Yeah.
that's just like life, whether you're single, whether you're married or married with kids.
Yeah.
And that's with life. You go on and you figure it out. There's always someone that gives you a recipe for how it should be done, and you realize very quickly that doesn't even apply to me.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. You know always a good plan when it's not a plan.
So today, man, I got it. What's wrong with y'all?
Oh, tell me
So
about
y'all know every week we talk about just random shit that we see that we just like, what's wrong with y'all? So the first thing I want to talk about is what's up with your boy Santos, the dude in Congress.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say this.
Let's talk about this.
Tell me.
So
Tell me.
he lied about where he went to college.
Right.
He said he played volleyball in college. If you're gonna lie about a sport, why are you gonna say volleyball?
It was intramural.
Hold on. Lied about going to business school. He lied and said that he was gay. And then a news article came out about how his wife's divorced. He's getting divorced from his wife.
But he was talking about his feelings.
No. So, and this was like a couple weeks before he actually took office. He lied and said his family, immigrants from Ukraine, his family's from Brazil. Right?
Right.
And so it's one of these things where you're lying on the right to get votes, but you won in a district that won with Biden. So that's highly democratic. So that's why he came out and said, "Oh, well, I'm a gay."
This.
He's like, "I'm gay, I'm this, I'm that." So he can appeal to the sympathies of the far left, but still being a Republican, doing on the far right. And so all of this shit's coming out.
Looks like it worked.
Yeah, but all of this shit's coming out. And because this is how crazy and shitty our government is. And because he's lied about everything and everybody's denouncing him, they still won't force him to resign because in the House, the votes are so close in number right now that they don't want to lose, the Republicans don't want to lose any votes. So they'd rather have somebody who's a piece of shit in office just so they can keep his vote. That's the government that we have. Kind of crazy, right?
It sounds like it fits right in.
Right.
Right?
I mean, outside of the government, you know what I do love? He lives in his lies. Like he goes, be one thing.
He goes hard.
It's like, no, well, you know what? I've already taken this step. Might as well just go my lifestyle. He dresses in drag.
Dude.
You saw those pictures?
Yeah.
I mean, it's on and on and on. But I don't even think he knows what the truth is.
Well, I mean, Trump set the stage for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
You die with a lie and you tell another one and you tell another one.
But here's the funny thing. He said, his mother or somebody in his family was in his mom. He said, my mom was working in the Twin Towers when they got here.
Yes.
And that's when they were like, no, your parents were in Brazil, right? Then the other one was, I was at Pulse nightclub in Orlando when the shooting happened, and my friends and some of my employees were there as well. He wasn't there, right? And none of the people he said was there. So all of this is coming out, and it's the funniest shit because he's doing all of this to gain the sympathies because
he's making himself relevant.
Right, because the far left plays on their emotions.
Yes.
And so the far left, the far left is sort of like, oh, yes, he's been through trauma, he's been through all this. And the far right is like, fuck that, we need the Republican vote. So we're going to vote for you over, and if we get some Democrats to put you in, that's how he got his office. And it's crazy. On another note, did you see what that fuckstick DeSantis in Florida did?
No, what did he do?
The critical race.
No, not even.
Oh, which one?
Not critical race theory. He banned African American history as an AP class in Florida.
Yeah.
And said it cannot be taught. So kids who want to go take African American history as an AP class can't take it, can't get credit for it, can't do any of that. How crazy is that?
It's not crazy at all. It's their truth.
Yeah, right? And then, it's funny because I was watching this video and they were interviewing kids who had taken African American history. And they were saying it was such a good class at different schools. It was such a good class to take because they're like, everything they learned in the African American history class, none of it was taught in their regular history class. Like the history of African Americans in the country was never taught. And what made Ron DeSantis such a piece of shit is because he signed this bill to ban it, and then the very next day posted on his IG and Twitter a Martin Luther King Day post. Yeah, just like pubbing Martin Luther King. And it's like,
Okay.
Really, motherfucker? Really?
I mean, are we really shocked? I mean,
No,
are we
but it's
really?
just, not shocked, but I'm just like,
It's just sad,
yeah,
the
right?
state of affairs. That's
Yeah.
the biggest issue.
And like they have, they keep going back to this whole critical race theory thing. It doesn't have to be critical race. We shouldn't even have, and I'm gonna say this out loud. We shouldn't even have Black History Month because it should just be included in history. It's all a part of history.
And I agree, but the reason why you have to have that is
I
because
know. Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know, but
Well,
like,
I'll go even one further. Why the F do we even have race?
right?
Race is a social construct.
It is.
When you go to Africa, and Gino can tell you, they don't call you black in Africa. They call you American. When you go to Africa, Ethiopians don't call each other black. They name each other by their tribe. If you're from Nigeria, you're Nigerian. You're not African. You know? You go to South Africa, you're black. Why? Because of the Dutch.
Right.
You know? But you go anywhere else, you're Senegalese, you're from Tonga, you're from whatever. You know what I mean? You're not considered black until you go to Europe or until you go to the States. Even in Asia, they don't call you black. They just call you American.
But even look at the place in Africa with more Middle Eastern ancestry, where they don't look as dark, or they don't even look the same. They don't look at you as you're black.
No.
You're all African.
Yeah. And it's crazy. But so you get, when you're on that side of the world, you get named by your tribe, your language, or your region.
Right.
You don't get named by, and then why the hell are we called African American? Because people got tired of being called black. People got tired of being called white. Do I walk around and say, oh, you're Irish American? Oh, you're Russian American? No.
But the question is, what was the impetus for that? Was it black people saying, "Don't call me black,
Yep.
and I want to be called African American"?
Well, because at first they didn't want to be called niggers. Then they didn't want to be called colored. They didn't want to be called Negroes. And so they're like, okay, I want to be called black. And then they got really progressive and said, I don't want to be called black because I'm from African origin, so I want to be called African American, which
Well, then kind of everybody is then.
right, the
Was
whole
it-
world comes
I
from
know exactly.
a spot in Ethiopia. So everybody's African American if you live in this country.
Doesn't that come from the Jesse Jackson movement? That was his whole Operation Push when he was talking about the whole African American.
I think you're right.
I think
you're
I
right.
think he pushed that through.
That and the NAACP kind of just got on board and kind of really,
Yeah.
really fine-tuned that.
Well, what's interesting to me is that you can have someone from South America that's darker than you, when we're talking about skin color. They're thought of as being South American. You can have someone from the islands that will still be called African American when they're from
They're Jamaica, or they're
Jamaica
from the
or
Bahamas.
from the Bahamas, or
Anywhere.
And so, how is it that even when you're not of African descent, in the
Right.
short,
Because I think they know that all black people came from Africa, but so did all white people. So if I walk up to a blonde white lady and say, "Hey, you're African American too," she'll lose her mind and want to punch me in the eye. I'm like, don't hate your ancestry. I bet if we did Ancestry.com, you'll have some black blood in you somewhere. One drop. It's that simple. So don't hate us. Just know that this shit is and that's what that book that you made me read, I gave to Gino, Cast, talked about that. And it's one of the things that stuck. And it's the shit is crazy.
Yeah.
How about another what's wrong with y'all? Did you guys see the cop that punched the girl in the face?
Yes.
So she's being arrested. This African American woman, these two white cops are arresting her. And as she's getting put in cuffs, one of the cops just looks at her like this and just drops her.
No, he overcut
Drops her.
her. Bop,
And
twice.
it was being filmed by somebody across the street. So the film came out, right? Guess what? The cop gets put on unpaid leave.
No,
paid
paid
leave. Paid leave as part of his vacation leave. So instead of paying him to take off work, they're like, you have to take part of your vacation. So 3 of your vacation days are part of your paid leave while we investigate this. What are you investigating? You saw him sock her in the face. You were not in danger at all.
Right.
But the funny thing is they have to give him due process when it's right there, live video.
Right.
You see what happened. Doesn't matter what she said to him. Doesn't matter
No, and
what
it's-
you can
and-
see.
and if
you
you-
see that she's in cuffs, and
Yeah, and if you think that she said something funky, put out his body cam footage. Oh, his body cam wasn't on. Why not? Well,
Right.
good thing, because somebody across the street filmed that whole shit.
Right. Well, you see the whole body cam thing with the other guy.
The dude that got shot here in
Yeah,
LA.
yeah, yeah. You know,
Electrocuted him.
they only showed so much of the shock process. They didn't show all that happened beforehand. You know, we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like, no, why don't you show all the footage?
because if you see all the footage, it can't be defended.
Right.
And that
If you
blue
just
wall
see it-
starts to break
Yeah,
down.
if you just see him sitting on the ground, then whatever narrative they want to put to it, they can when there's
Right.
not the video to back it up. So they only show the
And we
piece,
ain't
and they say, "Oh, well, what happened before is he kicked somebody, or he did this, or he did that," and all you see is them shocking him, and oh, it was deserved.
FYI, we're not going to tell you where we are because we don't want you coming after us, the blue wall, after this train.
Right? But let me ask y'all's opinion on this last what's wrong with y'all that I got. We kind of touched on it earlier. About the whole transgender movement. Now, my thought is identify whatever you want, but don't take it so far where it's uncomfortable for, because if you think about where we are with transgender, be who you're gonna be, I don't care. It's now come to a point, and I heard this on Bill Maher last night, I believe, and I heard
Yeah.
this again on another show, where they are saying in schools they want feminine products placed not just in the female bathrooms, but in the male bathrooms, because there are men that menstruate. And I'm just like, so now you're putting pads, tampons in the male restroom in kids' schools and,
Right.
and junior highs and then public restrooms. And they're saying they want to make it so every establishment is forced to do this, whether it's every public establishment, restaurants, whatever, is forced to do this because there are men that menstruate. What are your thoughts on that?
Men don't menstruate.
Okay, but yeah, here's the thing.
No,
Yeah, they don't, but here's the thing. If you tell somebody males don't menstruate, you're right. If you say men don't menstruate, they'll say the word man is a social construct.
Right.
Male is a biologic construct. So that's why you don't have, they should say, instead of men's room and women's room, they should say female bathroom, male bathroom.
Right.
Or make it all unisex.
Well, I'm very big on live and let live, and I can't even keep up to speed with all the different things that are happening and who says what and who wants what. And going into sort of our topic for the day, where I look at my kids and try to teach them, okay, how should you look at it? I try to be a little neutral and saying, look, treat everybody the way that you want to be treated, and all those other things you just let go, because there's a lot of things that you have no control over. So change in life what you can to make sure that you're happy. Don't be mean to other people.
Right.
Respect them and respect their decisions, even if you don't understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But
Like I get,
that's the easiest way for me.
like I get that people need to live. Like one thing I look at is Caitlyn Jenner, and I feel sad that Bruce always wanted to be Caitlyn, but had to live his life being Bruce. That had to be brutal for him, And I see that with kids who may feel, that they want to be the opposite sex for various reasons. I get it. Do you think it's fair? What if, for example, your son at 9 decided, I want to be a girl? Would you try to change his biology? Or would you just say, you know what? Live your life as a woman, as a girl if you want to, and then when you're old enough to really make the decision on your own without needing my permission, then you can decide, going forward. Would you give him Lupron to block his testosterone? Would you try to keep him from going through puberty because he said he wanted to be a girl? Because what people are saying is that that's all reversible. Not 100%. Just because you take away the drug, I'm living proof that it doesn't always go back to normal.
Well, that's a tough one, because I think that kids these days have it a lot harder than we had it when we were growing up. But I think every generation, because look at our parents' generation, they didn't have as many options as we had, and our kids now have more options, not just in regards to who they identify with, from that perspective, but even with social media and all these things. There's so many things that kids are being hit with these days that it's truly hard to guide them and teach them the difference between right and wrong, and not putting your personal biases into it. Because as a parent, you putting your personal biases into it, it has some effect on them. But at this age where my boys are 14 or 13, their friends really have more of an effect on them or an impact on them than I do at this stage.
Right.
So hopefully I'm thinking I led them down the right path, and their decisions, going back to your original question of would I allow them to, or wouldn't have to be allowed, I would have to basically do it for them. I don't think that they're mature enough to make those decisions.
Yeah.
That's why they're called minors. And when you're talking about making health decisions, and that's what we do.
Right.
If they're not 18 yet, it falls under the guise of what their parents think and what they think is best for them. So that's the reason why. So if you have someone that wants to change their sex or do something different, you as a parent have to make the right decision for them, and not allow them to make it themselves.
Right. Like there was a statement that I saw of this 15-year-old girl who identified as male, right? So her parents allowed her to have a mastectomy. She had top surgery, went ahead and had bilateral mastectomies, was going through some things when she was 15. When she turned 16, after the age of 16, she was like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? And wanted them back. And what do you tell? I mean, you had top surgery, they're gone completely, And so what if it gets to the point too where a minor, and I don't know if they would go this far, a minor is like, you know what? I don't want a period anymore. I want to have a full hysterectomy. And then they turn 25 and decide, oh shit, I want kids. And you as the parent said, nope, you can have all the surgery you want, so I'm taking it all. Would a parent go that far? I don't know. Cutting off breasts, you can get implants if you change your mind. Would you go that far?
There's some parents out there that
right.
would.
And that's the hard part. Like why, I saw a documentary where they were talking to 5 and 6-year-old kids, and there was a doctor who was saying they are more than willing to give hormones to block puberty in both girls and boys before they even reach puberty. And I'm just like, so what happens if the little boy changes his mind and all of a sudden he's gonna start taking testosterone at 25? Does he reach what?
Right.
You've blocked the production of his, his gonads. What happens then?
I think I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think the biggest problem with that and just having 2 boys is they're so inundated with so much information from all over and have that instant access to information.
Right.
That one of the things that all parents are worried about, because we're seeing this, is teenage suicide.
Yep.
And some of it has to deal with their gender identity, just kind of them being bullied and all these things, which is a lot different than when we were kids, because people didn't have access to all these things like they have now.
Yeah, when we got bullied,
And so,
it was just face to face.
Right.
Now people are being bullied, and
So-
everybody knows they're being bullied.
and so from a parent standpoint, when you make those decisions for your child, you try to figure out, well, I don't have a crystal ball. I want to do what's best for them. And playing devil's advocate, if your child truly wants to have gender reassignment and they really feel that way, and you don't let them do it and they end up committing suicide, you end up saying like, oh my God, I should let them do it because this is how they felt and they were trapped and they wanted to be something else that they weren't. But I took the way that I felt about it and didn't really think about it. So here's a good example. My son wants to get an earring, okay? And in some aspects he's kind of homophobic. And so I said, look man, I'm going to let you do it, but know that you're a little homophobic and
you're pretty.
You're pretty. You know, the minute someone looks at you and says, "Oh, I think you're homosexual or gay or whatever," I'm like, it's going to tarnish you for life, because now someone's calling you that. And if you are, that's fine. But if you're not, people are going to think that, because you're going to get 1 or 2 earrings and whatever, and you're pretty, and you know, you look effeminate. So therefore, as a father, I want to say, I wish I had a crystal ball, and I know what's going to happen. But yet, if I say, no, you can't do it because he wants to go get one today.
Okay.
I mean, I had an earring when I was little, you know, but I know him, and the minute someone says up, he's going to want to take it out. So me knowing that, I'm like, should I just ban him from getting it, or should I just say trial and error? And you have to kind of pick your poison, because
I say let him get it.
So I'm going to let him get it, but it's just like, pick your poison. And when I can almost see the writing on the wall, know what's going to happen, sometimes you have to let him go through that experience, and this is experience that's not going to hurt him.
Right.
So I'm picking my poison. So it's hard, because as a parent, you want him or her to not be touched, be happy every single day, live a wonderful life, and experience life. But you want to try and protect them from everything else.
Right.
And you can't.
Yeah.
So that's
especially when you're raising 2 boys.
You know, it's easier for me because I'm a boy. You know, it's harder for my wife because, thank God I don't have any girls. No offense, but I wouldn't know what to do with a little girl. I don't even know what to do with grown women. That's a whole other story.
So let's move this conversation forward. So
let's get into it.
Today we want to talk about, you know, we always know that the What's Wrong With Y'all will take on a life of its own, and that's why we do it every week, because it really
it's what's going on. It's current.
Exactly. And that's why earlier today, before we started the podcast, we recorded a live on IG, because it's going to be good to get feedback on what you guys want to hear. And stuff just pops up. And what's the biggest medium for people getting their news is social media now. You know, so we grab these stories and we talk about them. But today we wanted to talk about kind of what it's like being a single guy, a married guy with no kids, and a married guy with kids. 3 different dynamics, but we're all at the same sort of age level, and what that's like. Like, for example, Kenny is in a unique position. You guys have heard us talk about it before. He's been married once, divorced, and now he's married again.
Right.
What would you say was the toughest transition from single to marriage to divorce to marriage again? Go from single to married. What did you think changed most in your life that you had to change to go from married to single? I mean, single to married.
The first time?
The first time.
The first time, just getting married, well, one, and I don't know if she ever hears, but the first time.
Do you care?
No, not
Exactly.
really. But the first time, you know, I was 24, 25 years old. You know, it's kind of one of those.
Do you think that was too young?
I think it was.
Okay.
Because I think the maturation wasn't there, but I was all in at the same time. So when she wanted to get married, and I say that honestly because she wanted to get married. It's like this
Isn't that always the case?
Yeah, it is, because it was a plan. There was this whole idea of what it looked like, and so what happened for me was I said, oh well, shit, I guess I need to propose. Oh, well, I need to follow suit. So I'm still following behind versus being a part of the process.
Okay.
And, you know, by the time we got into it, you know, some things that happen, you know, it's like, oh, we're not meeting eye to eye. And then I will go, oh, well, what did I do wrong? Because what's my problem? What's wrong with me?
So your
type of person.
whole concept of, okay, now's the time to get married was not more so that I'm eager to get married, but because she wanted to get married, it was the logical next step.
Yeah, right.
Now, here's the question, Gino. I'll try to ask questions that won't get either one of you cats in trouble. But this is, if your spouses don't want to hear the truth, then they just don't have to listen to the podcast.
Don't worry, we got questions for you.
I know you do. But what I'm saying is, what do you think was the transition point from being single to married? Like, what made you say, you know what, now's the time? Because you got married later in life than he did.
Right.
He got married at 25. You got married, what, 35?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a decade difference in maturity, in career, and just kind of where your stage was in life. What made you say, you know what, now's the time? Because I remember when you first started dating your wife, and then I know kind of when you decided, okay, now's the time, but I don't know why you decided this was the time.
Excuse me. So
Sorry, we call it.
So I knew I always wanted to have kids and have a family.
Yeah.
And the reason why I decided to get married was because I actually met the right woman.
Okay.
And I think you remember I was very early. I think probably the first time I even took her out. I called you up and I said I met my wife.
Yeah.
And you were like, "What?" And it wasn't
Oh,
that I
I
was.
know you.
It wasn't that I was looking. It was just that I've actually finally met someone that I figured would fit into my life, into what I wanted. And before I met her, I knew I was going to get married at some point, maybe because I wanted kids.
Right.
But other than that, I wasn't looking for a wife.
Right.
I met her and I was like, she's the one. So I know people don't believe in love at first sight, but literally that's what it was. And it took me 5 years after I met her to actually get married, because I knew that that was going to be my wife, and she didn't need to change anymore to become the person that I wanted to marry. I just was emotionally immature. And I knew that if I got married then, we'd be divorced, because I just wasn't ready to compromise. And I think the most important thing is you have to give up some kind of being egocentric, and you have to actually be willing to compromise. And I think that's the hardest thing, because marriage is a compromise.
So right now, all over social media, you hear kind of these conversations, and the three of us send memes back and forth to each other about marriage and life and women and men and all this stuff. What qualities, what in your mind makes a woman wife material? Is it what a lot of women out there think, oh, we talked about this before, I'm a boss bitch, I'm a CEO, I got all this money, I'm doing my own thing, I bring a lot to the table. When I hear that, I'm like, well, shit, you don't need me. You're your own man. Mm-hmm. And not because you do all of those things, it's because of how you talk about doing all of those things.
Right.
If you can still be a woman and do all those things without being your own man. But the minute you say I'm independent, I don't need a man, then you are your own man.
Yeah.
And so my question to you guys, what makes somebody wife material in your mind? What made Kenyatta wife material?
I think it was a feel. I mean, I can't put anything dynamically on it, but after I divorced my first wife, I was like, no, I'm never going to get married again. And when Kenyatta and I started dating, I was like, I need to marry this one. I'm not letting you get away. No. I said, she made me feel as though I had to marry her, versus the first time I was like, I guess I need to be a part of this process of getting married. So that need, that want and need, it's like I felt like I had to be a part of a need process that was not even my own in the first marriage. The
Right.
second marriage, I really wanted this because I couldn't let this get away from me.
Okay, makes sense. And so do you think that if you didn't marry her, she was going to leave?
I really wasn't concerned about that.
You just said, I need to marry her and lock this up.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I say that now is because with men, there typically isn't an incentive to walk down the aisle. Men don't have a problem with commitment. They will commit to you all day. You can be their girlfriend all day. The way that I've seen it and talked to people, they walk down the aisle because they know that's what the woman wants. Mm-hmm. And the woman doesn't feel that you're committed to her until you say, I do. Whereas the dude all day is like, no, I got you. I'm you. But they still, because instilled in their mind from being a kid, they want the wedding, they want the marriage, they want I do, the proposal, all that stuff. That in itself doesn't define commitment. That just means he signed a piece of paper. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I always wonder what makes people say, yeah, this is why I'm doing this. Being single, I always wonder, because think about this. Yeah. As a single guy, when you guys were single, how many people, the same people that tell, all the married people that tell me all day, every day, dude, don't do it, were telling you guys the same things as well before you got married, but yet you still get married. And yet those guys, these older guys in their 60s, 70s, 80s who were saying, don't do it, somebody was telling them the same thing. So I've always wondered, if everybody's getting told don't do it, what makes you do it?
Right.
You know, and so I guess with me, the reason why I'm at the stage where I am and haven't done it, because I haven't done this. I haven't ran across somebody and be like, shit, this is it. If she wants to do it tomorrow, I'm ready.
Over here trying to beat us to the question.
Yeah. I can anticipate.
It's control. He has control issues. That's part of it.
It's called being Howard Stern and knowing how to navigate an interview.
More like dictate.
Not letting it get flipped on my ass. But no, I mean, I've always wondered why everybody says don't do it. Now, men and women both tell me, don't do it. But then they all still do it.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems with the institution of marriage today is that people get married for the wrong reason. And that's why they can so easily get divorced. Like I told my wife, I said, I married her because literally it was kind of love at first sight. And she is just extraordinary. And she makes me feel like a man. She makes me feel like the king. And that's how she treats me. Even though she's very successful, she's CRNA, makes good money, probably more money than most men in the world.
Like that conversation we had at my birthday dinner.
But still, she allows me to feel like a man, and she respects me. You know, she's deferential to me, and you know, people might say in this day and time of women being their own man, she could be her own man. You know, but yet she still makes me feel like I'm the man.
Notice out there, y'all, what he said. The most important thing. She respects him.
Yeah.
The problem is a lot of people and a lot of women out there don't understand that a man's love language is loyalty and respect.
Yeah.
If a man feels that you love and respect him, he'll stick around.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, the book that I told you about, The Way to a Superior Man.
Yeah.
David Dearden's book. The most important thing that he talks about is the alpha female is looking for an alpha male, and she will wholeheartedly respect, appreciate, and give him the space to be the alpha male he is. And it's not about finance, it's about his passion and purpose in life, and what he brings to her, she will bring tenfold to him because she respects him.
A queen won't make a jester a king. A king will make a commoner a queen all day.
Right.
Think about that.
And you know, the big thing is I got married because I was in love. And so I think in this day and time, divorce has become so commonplace because when you look at these people, you know, people have gotten married and divorced in the limelight 5 or 6 times, and it's just okay.
Because marriages have become transactional.
It has become basically a transaction, a financial transaction.
Yeah.
And so
It's a lack of respect.
I mean, with me, I can't say how everybody else loves, but it took me almost 5 years to even tell my wife I loved her because I wanted her to understand what my love meant, not just saying, oh, I love you every time you go whatever, because that means nothing. So if you truly love someone, you can't just get rid of them. And I even told my wife, I said, we may grow apart, we may even get divorced one day, but I don't have a prenup because I told my wife, you can have everything of mine. You know, it doesn't matter to me because I love you and I want to make sure that you're taken care of the way I want you to be taken care of, whether you're with me or not. And so that's love. You know, it's not transactional. You know, we're not going to fight. If we get divorced, guess what? Go LegalZoom, drop some papers, and you write down there whatever the hell you want, and it's yours. Done. Because whatever comes between us, I love you because of your heart. Your heart's not going to ever change. Right. Someone may make a mistake. Someone may do whatever, may get someone mad. You grow apart. That's life. But if you love someone, that never changes. You can't stop loving someone. You may be out of love with them, but if you love them and you truly love them, that's literally all that matters. Yeah.
So here's a question. If I met somebody today and I was like, I'm getting married, should I get a prenup?
So that's a very good question. And at this stage in life, it's very hard because when I got married, I was a neurosurgeon, but I didn't have much, you know?
Right.
And even if I did, the problem with prenups, and if I was a billionaire and I had all that to lose, and you can't tell when you're at that stage what they're coming in there for. You know what you're
Right.
you know, you're pure, your thoughts are pure, you're in love, but yet you never know what that person
Well, here's the
wants.
thing. And I would, if I met, let's just say, Larry Ellison's daughter, or whatever, somebody, Bill Gates' kid who's got billions or whatever, I 100% would be like, let's get a prenup. I don't have, but I want you to know, I don't want shit from you.
Right.
And that's, as men, that's the logic behind us. We'd be like, you know what? For me, if I ask a woman to sign a prenup, and she's more well off than me, I'm signing the prenup because I want you to know that everything about you has nothing to do with your money.
Yeah.
Now, if
But
I wasn't
women
married in that
don't think
respect,
that.
I would ask a woman, would she sign a prenup? And if she told me no, I wouldn't marry her.
Exactly.
Because she's thinking about it from a transactional standpoint.
Exactly.
If we're in love, she's not worried about being taken care of.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why now I say, because somebody asked me that the other day, would you make a woman sign a prenup? And I was like, 100%. And I was like, but early on in our dating, it would come up. That
Right.
question would come up in conversation. Hey, would you make somebody sign a prenup? Absolutely. And if she starts acting differently,
She doesn't even get to that
she
point.
doesn't even get to the point of me asking her, like letting her get close enough to me, because to me, that's one of the, we didn't talk about when we did our deal breakers, because we could have gone on forever on that episode. I didn't talk about that, but a deal breaker is someone who shows their hand early that my status and my financial status means more to them than it should. It's an aphrodisiac. It is.
Exactly.
And women also, and the reason why, because every woman wants you to have the 3 F's. Finance, friends, fit. That's what they want. Why? Because if you're fit, that means you care about taking care of yourself and you're going to be around a long time. If you have finances, that means you have the ability to provide and be secure. If you have friends, that means people around you gravitate towards you and you're good to people. They see that. That's the thing. That's the things they want.
In a perfect world, but I think it's just the one F that really makes the difference.
Right. Right. No, what I'm saying is they'll forego the other 2 if the big F is great.
Right.
I have a question for you though.
Yes, sir.
And this is very serious. It's never serious with me, but in this day and time, how are you available, and are you available for love or the potential love to receive love with everything that's going on with social media, the comments, men are this, women are that, this is where they're going, disrespect, everything, everybody from different angles are coming. How do you, one, are you in position to be able to hone in on the possibility of love? And 2, are you ready to receive that potential?
Oh, absolutely. And
Okay.
the reason why I can say that is because with all that's going on in social media, and we've talked about this before, you just got to block out the noise.
Yeah.
If you come to me and there's something off, I move on to the next. Because, I'm sorry, I got options, y'all. It's that simple. And because there's options,
You're a male. I
exactly.
hate to say it.
I'm in
but you're a
the
male.
top 1%. And so
Right.
because I have options, you got to be more than pretty.
But because you have options is what makes you attractive.
Right. I know that. And so that's what I'm saying is like, they're like, are you ready to receive it? Yes. I have options. So don't think that being pretty is going to get you the keys to the kingdom. And a lot of women think that all I have to do is be cute, be pretty, be funny, and he's going to want me. No, that's what gets you a hello.
Also,
For me to want to spend time with you.
he's an anomaly because he's not an overly sensitive male. He's not today's male.
No.
He's a little bit of an old school male.
That's a whole other issue.
We can do a whole other podcast
Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, the over.
on the
yeah.
oversensitive Mitch.
Yeah.
You know? And so
The world is changing.
yeah.
It really is.
And so at the end of the day, even though these oversensitive men are out there, women don't respect that. And they will tell you all day, this is what I want, but it's never the dude they're with.
You know,
They still want a man to be a man, and sometimes like Junior used to always say, sometimes you gotta punch people in the mouth.
Yeah, but you know what you just said? The world is changing. The world is just trending. It's following trends. It's
True,
following
very
those
true.
moments. Yeah.
Because it ain't actually changing.
No, it's not changing. It's trending. It's what's hot. What's not. Whatever.
Because what's not changing is a woman's mindset. They still want the same things.
Right.
They're just accepting bullshit, but they still want the
Right.
same thing. And they will test you to see if you're that Mitch. They're gonna test you because they want to know. And this is why I said the 3 F's, because with the fit, they say the fit makes them feel secure. They don't want a dude that doesn't look like he can protect them.
An interesting thing I
But
saw
they
on social
also
media.
they also say, I don't want the dude with the six pack. Majority of women are like, I don't want the dude with the six pack because he's spending more time on himself than paying attention to them, and they want attention.
So the one thing I saw the other day was a woman saying, when I was younger, in my 20s, I wanted a man that was physically strong. As I'm in my 30s, now I want a man that's mentally strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the mentally strong is what has bigger connotations on your offspring and on longevity, because we all get weaker as we grow older. So what gets sharper? Well, your mind gets a little weaker too. but that, when you're talking about security, they want to feel mentally that they're secure, not just that, oh, this guy can protect me if I get in a fight, because
Well, that's what I mean by everything being fit. And if you're physically fit, there's studies that show that your mind is more fit as well. Mm-hmm. If you're sickly, you don't look like you're that lion that gets beat up and kicked out of the herd because you're sickly.
Well, yeah.
And if you're not healthy,
Oxygen, blood flow,
and
everything's important.
women still, and like every animal, they pick out the stud in the herd because they want those genes. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna look at you and be like, all right, Simba over here looks like he can throw down, and he's a smart cat. You know what I mean? So he's not just a physical specimen, he's a mental specimen as well.
Well, thank you.
This motherfucker right here.
I mean, because he was looking at me, right? He was
Right,
yeah,
he
yeah,
did. He did
yeah,
point.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, thanks a lot.
Shit I get myself
No,
into.
I really appreciate that.
Man.
Thank you, Theo.
Well, it's funny because these youngsters out here will have no idea who Theo is.
I know. We talked about that before.
Yeah, Theo Mizuhara.
We
Shout out.
told you to look him up.
Look him up.
So look him up again.
But yeah, so I get that women want what they want, and I can't blame them for that.
And they should.
Yeah, and we talked about this in the gold digger episode. Mm-hmm. Gold digger versus gold digger. Women look at a man with goals, a man with aspirations, a man who's working towards them and who has them differently than they look at a dude who's just complacent. And how many dudes are ambitious, have goals, are hardworking, that are broke? There's not many. And so they equate financial success with life success. And so I'm not mad at you for that. But if you say, I'll date anybody as long as he's got money, then you're that cat, Right. And so when I come across women, I always say, you know what? Your beauty, because we're still visual creatures. It's that simple. Your beauty gets you a hello. After that, what are you bringing to the table? Are you funny, smart? Can I have a conversation with you?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Are you nurturing?
And none of that has anything to do with finance.
No. Are you nurturing? Are you, when I come home from a long day at work and you came home from a long day at work, if you're feeling better than me, are you like, honey, sit down, I got you tonight. I'll do that sometimes too, but are you that person that's going to do that? If you're not, then why am I with you?
Right.
What's the point? And I sent you this meme that talked about women and men and who should love more in a relationship. They say that a relationship that lasts is a relationship where a woman, it's never 50-50, where a woman loves the man just a little bit more. And the reason why is because if a man loves a woman more than she loves him, she's gonna push his buttons and do things to create that separation, and then she'll eventually leave. If a woman loves a man more, she's going to be respectful, loyal to that guy, and no matter if he doesn't love her as much, he will never leave because he appreciates the loyalty and respect, and he'll remain loyal to her even though the love's not equal.
And that's funny because I was telling my wife, I'm like, you never have to worry about anybody taking your place. And the reason why is because, and it's funny, if she catches me lying in bed and I'm a little tired, which happens like once every blue moon,
Yeah.
she'll quickly run over and be like, I got some lotion, let me rub your feet. And I just laugh at her. I'm like, get away from me. But we've been together for 20 years, and she'll still be like, can I rub your feet? Let me rub this lotion on and make you feel better.
It's the little things.
And it's the little things that
separates
this
the
day,
queen
most women,
from the courtesan.
Most women don't want to do because they're working and they're this, and because they're making all their own money, so they're their own man, so they don't feel like they have to cater to a man.
Yeah.
So having that
She's
dichotomy
acknowledging your existence.
where she's respectful, she is her own man in the respect of finances and being able to work and all those things and provide, but yet she still plays her role as the queen and makes me feel like the king. And that's the important thing, and that's the part that's always missing.
You know, and I'll tell you, Monique said it best. Remember we talked about the comedian Monique?
You know Monique.
She basically said, she said this. She basically was like, and she said in one of her stand-ups, she's like, my man doesn't work. She's like, I am the breadwinner, but when I come home, he is still the king of my house. And she's like, if he says, honey, do this, she's like, I do it because I know he's the king of my house.
Yeah.
You know, and it has nothing to do with finances. He's still, I run this house. And she's like, he can take care of himself. I make more money than him. And every man is like, as long as I know without you, I can still live on my own, you still need to let me take care of business.
Right.
It's that simple.
But most women in her position would not be that way.
No, at all.
And that's why they have problems, because most women say,
Women don't date down.
I have to have a man that's my equal or making more money than me.
Women don't date down.
And when you're a woman in that top 1% too, it's slim pickings.
And
you're miserable.
and here's the funny thing: the older women get, the less willing they are to date down.
Mm-hmm.
Women in their 20s and 30s will date the dude with potential. Women in their mid 30s to 40s are like, F that. I got this. He needs to be here or above. But what they don't realize is that the men that are here or above are older than them.
Yeah.
Men, like we talked, like the meme I sent you, women are born with what attracts men. Men have to earn what attracts women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women are born with beauty and swag and whatever it is, the things that we see, the physical aspects, that's a gift given to them when they hop out of the womb. The 3 F's that women want, a man has to work his entire life to earn the 3 F's. And therefore, he doesn't earn the 3 F's till he's in his mid 30s and 40s. So women are peaking in their 20s because that's at the stage where what they're born with is at its best.
Yeah.
Men are peaking in their 30s, 40s, and 50s because that's when seriously, men are peaking as they get older.
Yeah.
Men get better with the 3 F's as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
Women after their 20s start to lose traction on what they're born with, and they don't realize that the other shit they obtain financially, job-wise, and all that does not appeal to men. Men don't give a shit about that. I know I don't.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Man, I forgot.
He's old.
Oh, it's okay.
Out of moment.
Let me ask you this. You know, you're a breadwinner. You're making it happen. You're a husband, but you're also a father. How do you make sure you keep a worldly balance through all those? Because you're a hustler. You get out there, you travel. You know,
Every other week you go.
Yeah, he's gone. So, like, how do you continue to maintain not just household, but your sense of self with so many different dynamics? You have all the dynamics going on at one time.
That's a tough one, and that's something that even at 51 I'm trying to really work through right now.
Yeah.
I do all the things I do. When I was having a discussion with my wife last night, I said everything I do is to make sure that you and the boys want for nothing. You know, I don't care if I go hungry, don't sleep, don't buy anything for myself. There's nothing I'm very egocentric on one hand, because what makes me happy is making sure that they want for nothing.
Yeah.
And I even want more for them than they want. So me traveling, me hustling, me doing all these things is for them. And I'm trying now to find a way to sort of take a little time for myself.
I was going to ask you, what are your wants?
That's
a tough question.
That's a tough
right?
one, because people ask me, like, what makes you happy? And I'm like, ugh.
And I'm going to ask you, and I'm not going to ask you, but I'm going to beg of you to look for that this year because that was brought to my attention, and I was like, I don't know.
But that's how it is with most men.
Yeah, it happens with most men.
Because we're hardwired to provide.
Right.
And our world revolves around providing. So when you're single, you just provide for yourself. You know, you look out for yourself, and you know.
And we have
unique
situations with us because we provide for our mother.
And that was another thing. You know, you provide people around you, but you don't have the wife who's there. You don't have the kid that you feel responsible for. Like, my wife has a job; she can take care of herself and the kids if I wasn't here. You know, and we're very fortunate because of that. But I still feel like I'm the one that has to take care of them.
Of course.
You know, and so that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
You know, in my mind,
it is.
You know, and I was blessed with a great wife and great kids, but in my mind, and it's me personally that has the problem, me feeling like I got to give them more, and that's just kind of how I'm hardwired.
Yeah.
Like, they don't ask me for much. My kids, literally, I'm like, let's go get shopping. No, we don't need anything. We have enough, Daddy. I'm like, what's you know, really? Or my wife's like, I want to buy this for you. No, don't get it. Don't spend that money. I'm like, baby.
And I can say that because with his kids, I asked them what they wanted for Christmas, and they're like, I don't even know. We're good. What kid says that?
And so I'm an anomaly. I'm very fortunate. But in my mind, I still work hard because I want to give them stuff that they don't even know they want. Or I want to give them things that I want for them. And it's hardwired. And I think it's hardwired in all of us to be that provider.
I'm going to share this one with you. The harder you work at your wants, you're actually going to give them that much more.
But am I going to give them much more of what they want? Because what they want from me, wife and kids, is time.
Exactly.
And that's a problem. So now I'm trying to figure out how to juggle all that, being able to give them what I want them to have and give them exactly what they want, which is more time.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think his wants, he's not living it? Think about it. What does he want? His main want is for his family to want for nothing.
Right.
So he's actually living his life, providing for his wants.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. His biggest want is for the people around him to want for nothing. Because if they want for nothing, then he's good.
And that's the hard part, because that is very selfless, but it is kind of selfish because I'm getting what I want.
Yeah.
But what makes me happy is seeing the people around me happy and not want for anything.
Exactly. I mean, think about this. Look at you and Kenyatta. When she's happy, you're fine. Mm-hmm. So you live your life doing things and providing, and y'all provide for each other, and you live your life like, okay, you know what? We're taking care of each other, but I want you to be okay. You and I talk all the time about how you want her to be okay. Mm-hmm. Are you okay today? You know, and it's just because that's how you're built, and that's what makes you happy. That's one of your wants, but you also want to grow yourself, but you also want her to be okay. And I think if you're in a relationship, you want your partner to be okay.
Right.
That's one of your wants.
Yeah.
You want shit for yourself, but it's selfish because if she's okay, then that's less stress on you. You know, if she's not okay, then as the protector and the guy who's got to protect her feelings, her life, her world, if she's not okay, then that stresses you out.
Because you don't feel like you're doing your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just, it's
and
hard,
that's one of
hardwired
the,
into us.
and think about it, that's one of the stresses as a single man I don't have. And I have, work is going to be what it is. And how we talked about this week at work, we punched I shouldn't say we, I punched a few people in the mouth at work this week, and it was like taking a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm finally realizing that at work, I control that. I control my life at work.
Yeah.
And those aspects that I got rid of, which were making my work feel like work. Now, my job doesn't feel like work anymore. Mm-hmm. My job is my hobby, and that's what it's always been. The work aspect of it, I fucking kicked that shit to the side because after being, 25 years doing orthopedic surgery, yes, I just dated myself. I'm finally at a point in my life where this shit's easy. And it's easy because it's fun. Mm-hmm. And we talk about this all the time, like, dude, this shit is great because we're good at it and it's easy.
Yeah.
And I got rid of the aspect that was just annoying.
Yeah.
And so because that's done, I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
Now I can just take care of people and live my life, you know? And when it comes to dating and relationships, if you're annoying and you're a burden and I'm not married to you, why would I go there? It's time to move on. And so if you're annoying and a burden early on, or if we don't see eye to eye early on, nothing against you.
It's not going to get better.
Right.
No.
Nothing against you.
More work.
Nothing against me. We just ain't meant for each other. And that's okay. I'm not meant for everybody. Neither are you.
But when does it become a burden? Like, especially when you're in that initial state of dating, because he and I have been out of the game.
Well,
so we have our own inner game that we have to continue to play and work on a regular basis.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Tell me about it.
I'll tell you when it's not necessarily a burden. It's just I work a lot. You know, Monday through Friday is I get home no earlier than 7, 8 o'clock.
Right.
I'm out of the house. I'm up working out or doing something at 5 a.m. and then I come home and it's 7, 8 o'clock. If you don't understand that during the week I may not see you, or if I make time for you during the week, that's a big deal. And it may not seem like a big deal for you, but if you don't take it if you don't at least acknowledge that, hey man, I'm doing this, he's doing this for me, let me at least be cool about it, I'm gonna notice it immediately.
Gotcha.
And you shot yourself in the foot. Or if you just don't understand that, like last night, and it was understandable, and I was like, oh, she understood. I got home, I was supposed to go out with somebody, and I just didn't. I got home, I had a massive headache. I just popped a little medicine, sat down, watched TV, ordered some chicken wings, and just kind of relaxed. And didn't call anybody, didn't text anybody, and I was like, you know what? They'll understand. And when I texted the day, and I was like, hey, sorry, last night, I get it, I know you're busy, blah, whatever. Cool. The minute you come at me like, well, why can't you just, I'm done. Because no matter how busy your life, and we're not even there yet. We're just, with women in the early stages, I'm gonna help y'all out because everybody's got a girlfriend, somebody they want me to meet, and lately it's been crazy. So I'm gonna help y'all with me. What you need to realize is it's not about you. Sometimes it's about me. It's about you 90% of the time, but understand that I'm busy. I have a lot of shit on my plate. And if there's a day when I'm not up for it, it's not about you. It's not about me just not wanting to see you. It's just, I don't have it in me. And when I say I don't have it in me, it just means if I go out with you tonight, I'm not gonna be present, and then it's gonna be a shitty date. So how about you just accept that and we'll go out some other time. If you give me bullshit, I promise you I won't ask you out again. It's that simple.
And that's the biggest issue because, and I think this is the biggest issue with relationships because
That's
with men, because with men the problem is that we focus on work, we focus on providing, and we focus on building our status and being ambitious. Women and kids don't care about that from the standpoint of the process. Women like the end result, but the process, they want time, okay? And so that's what's hard for relationships because if you have a high value man, anybody that's successful can't give you all that time. And the man that can give you all that time, you don't want him because he's not as successful.
We talked about that on the high value.
So that's where you have to find someone that understands, like, look, sweetie, if you want this, that's why I say I'm happy I have an anomaly because if you want this, this is how it's got to be.
Yeah. Well, you
can't have your cake and eat it too unless you understand.
Yeah. Well, men are linear. Our success, the next success, how we move on, how we move forward. Women are cyclical. Everything moves in the process. So everything kind of all comes together. It's like they can pinpoint one at a time at the same time versus, we have to look back.
Yeah.
Now, you know that after, like when men and women get divorced, they say it takes a man, 3 to 5 years sometimes to get over that divorce.
Yeah.
He might be smashing, doing whatever, he's getting in them streets.
But he's still stuck.
He's still stuck.
Yep.
She'll be over in like a year to 2 years at tops.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
we could talk about this, and I think there's many aspects that we will have to sort of revisit
Yes.
and come back.
I
on.
agree.
And I think that what we learn is that we're all at 3 different stages. Same age, all 3 of us are successful at what we do, but we still have growth. We still have things that we need to accomplish, and we try to get people, as men, we try to get people to understand us. And that's all we really care about. Yes, you do. You care that people understand you. You want people to respect
I
you.
spent time understanding them.
You want people to respect you, and you want people to be loyal to you. Man, this is a good episode. Shit, we should release this week. Anyway, G Hunt, where they gonna find you, man? At Hunt in Surge. He doesn't do shit on IG.
I really don't.
But you will find us both. You'll find us both at huntspine.com. You'll find me at Lionel Hunt. And you'll find us at the Hunt Foundation.
Yes.
Go look us up.
And
Coach KJ. Podcast SOE.
SOE. Don't forget that podcast SOE. And you can find Coach KJ Knows. Coach KJ Knows on Instagram. And guess what?
We out.
Out.
Bye.
Deuces.